Good morning. You ready to sing? You ready to sing? 2, 3, 4. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet and see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Now everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Now let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey.
Can we give some more love to our amazing band? Mr. Christopher Fritchie and Francisco and Brett and Nick. Sorry, I had to look and see which drummer we had today. Hi, Nick. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa. I am Reverend Russ Laguerre. I'm the assistant minister here at the center, and I am thrilled to be here with you today. And if you happen to be joining us for the first time, and I know we've got a couple of new people because they talked to me this morning, we especially want to welcome you. And we especially want to welcome you if you're here the first time in a long time, if you're coming back to us. Thank you for spending your Sunday with us this morning. Please know, too, that your children are very welcome here. During our 11 a.m. service, we have child care for your infants and toddlers, and we also have fun, spirit-centered programming for your elementary school and middle schoolers. And our teen program is also just around the corner. So more to come on that soon. And let's see here. Oh, yes. Also, for the 9 a.m. service and the 11 a.m. service, if your kids aren't quite ready to move into our youth program, that's okay too, because they're welcome to sit here with you in the sanctuary. Hi, Hannah. And we've got our family room back there in the corner, and we also have a fun coloring table out in the social hall. So if you want to sit with your child and color, and I see lots of parents that like to color too, and lots of grandparents. That's totally okay too. And if you're wanting to get plugged into our youth program, whether you have a child that you want to bring into our youth program or you're wanting to volunteer, because we're always looking for more volunteers, you can talk to Jennifer Caldwell, who's just walking up there in our sanctuary. If you're online today, you can send her an email at youth@cslsr.org. Also, thank you and welcome to all of our wonderful live stream viewers. We are so grateful that you're sharing this time with us online. And live streamers, if you love watching us online, please consider sharing our YouTube feed with your friends. There's a share button and there's a subscribe button right under the video on YouTube and a like button. And all of those help us to share our live stream and this wonderful message with the world. And if you are new here, we recognize that finding ways to connect can sometimes feel challenging. I know the first time I ever walked into a center, I was kind of intimidated. I was like, who are all these people who keep wanting to hug me? I'm not sure what to do with this. Please help. And luckily, I was at a center where they had an information desk like we do that could help. So if you are new here and you're wanting to find out how you can get connected, please check out our information desk on your way out of the sanctuary today. There, we've got all kinds of materials, including a welcome packet for you that shows everything that's going on throughout the week, throughout the month here at the center. And you can also find all of this information online on our website, cslsr.org. And on our website, there is a photo of a typewriter that will take you to our information pages. And that's basically our bulletin for the entire month that contains all of the goings on here. So if you're trying to find a great workshop, and we've got a couple of those, if you're trying to find a class, if you're trying to find a group of your people to hang out with, all of that is contained there. And it's a really great resource to help you to get plugged in. Also, if you're new and you're wondering what we teach here, we also have a What We Believe pamphlet at our information table that has kind of a summary of everything that we teach in the Science of Mind and New Thought. And if you're online, you can send an email to our Chief Operating Officer, Linda Han. Her email's on our website, and she will send you a digital copy of any of the things that you ask for. Okay, now here's the fun, warm, fuzzy stuff. I love this part. At the Center for Spiritual Living here in Santa Rosa, we are motivated by a vision of a healthy, loving world. It's known as the Global Vision, and it calls us to imagine a world that works for everyone. And we see a world in which every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. And we follow our vision through the 5 core spiritual practices of our teaching. And would you please read those out loud with me? Spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, spiritual circulation. And if those sound interesting to you, keep your ears and eyes open, because in the beginning of May, Dr. Edward is going to be teaching a class specifically on those 5 spiritual practices, and you'll hear more about that in our announcements today. So I know that somewhere between the music, the meditation, the prayer, the practices, and our message today is exactly what you're needing to hear for the next step of your spiritual journey. Please know that you're so very welcome here. Now sit back and enjoy some music before our short time of silent contemplation.
I am enough as I am, as I am. I am enough as I am, as I am. I am enough as I am, as I am. I am enough as I am. And I am beautiful as I am. And I am beautiful as I am. I am beautiful as I am. I am beautiful. I release the pain that hides my heart away. I release the pain, and I will make a change and find a better way. I will make a change. Won't you sing along? I am enough as I am, as I am. I am enough as I am, as I am. I am enough as I am, as I am. I am enough as I am. I am beautiful. I am beautiful as I am. I am beautiful as I am. I am beautiful as I am. I am beautiful. I am enough.
Right here, right now. The one infinite presence, the one source of life is fully abiding. It is that intelligence, that power, that substance out of which all is made. It is that holds and infills all of creation. And so I know it right now as the very life of my life, in, through, and as all that I am. There is no separation. And I know this absolutely as the truth for each and every one here, for all those hearing this word, and for all those we hold near and dear in our hearts, for it is the truth of all life. We are beautiful, for we are divine expressions. We are enough and more than enough right now, because that one creative power and intelligence is where we are unfolding this morning in and as this service. It expresses through each of us uniquely. And it joins us together as community, one life right here. And so I know this presence is expressing in our music, in the words spoken, in each and every person here serving and receiving. and in this knowing, I know that we are blessed. And so I simply give thanks for this call home in conscious awareness. I simply let go and I let this be. And so it is. Amen. Good morning. I'm Ruth Barnhart, a minister serving at our center. Please join me in reading this morning's affirmation. I bring my own unique expression to life. To save space for others to do the same. And so it is.
What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? And if I believed, would the wind always fill up my sail? How far could I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. Never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you do if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? Now if I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, would the voice of courage whisper in my ear? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today If I were brave, what would I do today? If I were brave, what would I do today? If I were brave, what would I do today? If I were brave.
Thank you, Chris. So it is my great pleasure this morning to introduce to you our guest speaker today, Reverend D. Jacqueline Edwards. And Reverend Jacqueline is an ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister and is currently serving as the Community and Civic Engagement Minister at East Bay Church of Religious Science. She's previously served as the spiritual leader of First Church of Religious Science in Vallejo and as a founding member and past chair of the CSL Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. She also serves as an adjunct faculty member at the CSL School of Spiritual Leadership. She's a founding and leadership team member of People of African Descent and New Thought Group Incorporated and is the founder of Platinum Butterfly Focus Ministry, through which she envisions creating a world in which everyone has the opportunity to thrive. She believes that New Thought is uniquely positioned to co-create healthy, inclusive, racially and socially diverse, and economically prosperous communities that celebrate life. Ooh, that sounds really good, doesn't it? Yeah. Now, on a more personal note, I have a special fondness for Reverend Jacqueline because she was one of the ministers on my ministerial oral panels when I was first being licensed back in 2020. And let me tell you, she grilled me more than any other minister on that call. And I have to say, I look back on it now, and I'm so grateful, Reverend Jacqueline, that you did grill me, because what that showed me is how much you care about this movement and making sure that everyone, that all of the stewards of our movement, that we're of the highest consciousness. So please join me in giving a warm CSL Santa Rosa welcome to the amazing Reverend D. Jacqueline Edwards.
Thank you. Oh, I see I'm live. Well, a rousing good morning. Hi, you early birds. So, first of all, I want to say how absolutely grateful I am to be here. I'm giving great gratitude to Reverend Dr. Edward Fulune for inviting me to his pulpit. It is really something special when a minister says, "Come and speak at my house." And I'm grateful for that. Sometimes I'm also not quite sure whether or not the invitation is extended because they think I'll do a great job or because they think you'll be so grateful when they come back. Given who they've left you in the hands of. But today, I am going to make every effort to be a good steward of you and this community, which I feel an affiliation with because I went to school here. I did my ministerial training right here in these very halls. And so I like to start with a capstone that is the culmination of all of the things from Science of Mind 1 right on through. And that capstone, one of my favorite spiritual practices, and we are going to talk a little bit about spiritual practices today, is prayer. So I like to start with praying myself in. I even put it on my notes, pray me in. And so I invite you to join me in, first of all, taking a deep breath, inhale, and release. And as we release the breath, we allow ourselves to be reminded that the breath is the divine at the center and core of our being, that it is indeed God, Oludumare, Allah, whatever name we choose to use, that is breathing us. It is breathing us individually and collectively. And collectively we reside and we have our absolute being in that place that we call the One. And so what I know, what I declare, and what I accept is that from that place of the One, of oneness, there is a divine communication taking place right here, right now, in this place that has been made so sacred by everyone who has come before us, by everyone upon whose shoulders we stand, by all of the spiritual geniuses who have shared their hearts, their hopes, and their love with each and every one of us. And so it is with a humble and deep sense of gratitude that I release this word to the immutable and perfect law that always and in all ways simply says yes. And I invite you to join me in releasing this word by collectively declaring Ashe. Amen. And so it is. And virtual family, I hope you understand that that included you. And if it didn't, just give an amen right now so that we can all be anchored in this place. So, the wonderful people who are on the committee that makes up the themes and the topics for the year picked this year of 2023 to declare that we are living out loud. Living out loud. Now, living out loud in and of itself means that if you've been hiding out, if you've been peeking, if you've been kind of watching other people do what they do, it is now your turn. It is now my turn. The world is calling for us to all live out loud. Back in the days, we used to talk about living our truth, living from our truth. Back in my day of the parts of, I'm not going to give you a date because then you start counting, well, how old is she anyway? But back in my day of some parts of the civil rights movement, there was a cry where the speaker would say, "What time is it?" And the people would respond, "It's nation time," meaning that it is time to build a nation. I am asking what time it is. What time is it? And inviting us to consider that it is planet time, meaning that it is time for us to absolutely claim our dominion, right? I'm inviting us in religious science to consider that all of the goodies, all of the good stuff that we have gotten from our practice in this thing called science of mind or religious science, it's time to, whatever term you want to use, time to give back, time to circulate, time to share, time to no longer be the best kept secret. And the way that we stop being the best kept secret is through our practice. It's through what we do. It's through how we walk in the world. The theme for the month is the power of vulnerability. Now, I wish I could just stand here and say to you, yeah, I looked at that and I said, okay, this is a piece of cake. I did not. In fact, my first temptation, because I know someone on the committee that makes these things up, was to call her and ask her what was she thinking. What kind of conversation did you all have to come up with this? And then I had to sit with it. As I ask you to sit with this idea of the power, that means that within vulnerability, there is some kind of an authority, there is some kind of a power, there is some kind of a strength that we can use. Ernest Holmes said, there's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it, right? You all have heard that before, yes? Yes, that's not foreign to you? Okay, let's take that to this power of vulnerability is one of those, or an aspect of that power for good that Ernest Holmes talked about. When we look at it that way, we might even consider it as a spiritual practice. We might even consider it as one of the qualities of the divine. We might even consider that since we're here in this time frame, in this place, and this is our theme, that it might be a call to and for action for each and every one of us. Now, I took the title for the week and I tweaked it just a tad, as I am often inclined to do, to say the power of vulnerability, not just nice. Not just nice. What does that mean? That means that we are going to look at vulnerability not so much as a thing that I'm doing for someone else, number one, that it's something that I'm doing for myself, but for that self that is the core of me, for that self that I've owned, again, through my participation in this thing called religious science or science of mind. I have acknowledged that I believe that there is a self that exists at the center of me that I call the Christ. That I call that consciousness, that awareness that both connects me with all of life as well as calls forth that which is both uniquely and divinely mine to do, meaning that our individual expression of vulnerability is going to be individualized because we are individual expressions of the divine. And that Christ consciousness is what connects me. It is the heart, if you will, of this principle that we call oneness, which means that we all get to express this power, like a superpower of vulnerability. Amen? Y'all sound a little shaky there. Can we try that one more time? Amen. Amen. Yes, yes, yes. Now let's get into, I like to get, your buy-in before I tell you what you're actually buying into. Let's get into a little bit of the detail. First, I want to suggest that we are right now at a particularly magical time, at a vortex, if you will, that is so perfect for the experience and expression of this idea of vulnerability. Today is Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday. And yes, I'm going a little into the Christian piece and a little into that last third of the Science of Mind textbook where Ernest Holmes talks about the teachings of Jesus. We familiar with that? Yes? Okay. All righty. A thing, by the way, that was not in my bio that I toy with putting it in there is that I consider myself to be a sanctified, born-again religious scientist. Okay? Just so we know where we're springboarding from. So today is Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday being a week before Easter, it is the day that the man Jesus, who encompassed the Christ consciousness, rode into Jerusalem on a donkey or an ass, if you will, with a crown of thorns, right? Actually, see, I've left my Christianity a little bit behind. The thorns was next week when he's carrying the cross. But my point is that he rode in on a donkey. He was going in to be persecuted. He was going in knowing what he was going to face. The people. Now, so he was going in to face government persecution. He was going to be tried. He knew he was going to be executed. The whole 9 yards was already a part of his consciousness, a part of his awareness. But the people laid palms out in front of him. The people said effectively that we see you, we hear you, we love you, we support you. Now, in doing this, I invite us to consider that the people were expressing their power of vulnerability. How so? So when someone is under, and particularly in those times, although I'm not so sure it's that different from these times, but particularly when someone is been charged with a crime, is sure to be convicted, to align yourself with that individual involves risk. To say to that individual, I love you, I see you, I support you, is risky business. It is being vulnerable to suffering the same consequences. But yet they laid out the palms in front of him. In the metaphysical Bible, the wonderful founder of the Unity religion, one of our sister New Thought religions, Charles Fillmore says that the palms represent a consciousness of victory. It is something that denotes winning over, overcoming. All of that is the symbolic representation of the palms. So now today is Palm Sunday. We're talking about the vortex that we're living in right now. We just had the spring equinox on March 20th. Now it's taken the weather a minute to catch up with the calendar, but nonetheless, it is spring. For those that celebrate spring, there is this idea that it is a time for a new awakening. Passover starts this week, April 5th to 13th. Passover is the Hebrew nation celebration of passing out of slavery, coming out of the institution of slavery in Egypt. Ramadan, March 23rd to April 21st, a time of giving up food during the day so that we can absolutely be one with the divine. On the Buddhist calendar, there's a New Year, a New Year celebration coming up. We're talking about being in the vortex. We're talking about having no excuse for not allowing ourselves to fall into this place of vulnerability. What does it mean? Now, Merriam-Webster says it means capable of being physically or emotionally wounded, open to attack or damage, assailable, vulnerable to criticism. Now, those first 4 things sound really horrible. Again, why would I raise my hand for that? And I invite us to consider that that last one, vulnerable to criticism, is the one that we are most afraid of, right? How many of us walking around in our everyday lives actually think we're going to be physically harmed? Now, emotionally wounded, again, that's another horse of another color. Because not only do we often experience emotional woundedness, but we sometimes inflict it. And we sometimes inflict it as a defense mechanism, as a way of warding off what we think, AKA what we made up, may be coming our way. Now, Brené Brown softened the definition a little bit. She says, vulnerability is a state of emotional exposure that comes with a certain degree of uncertainty. It involves a person's willingness to accept the emotional risk that comes from being open and willing to love and be loved. I want to invite us to consider that last part, willing to love and be loved. Vulnerability requires care. It requires that we care for each other. It requires that we care for ourselves. But caring for ourselves from a perspective, from a place of, one, remembering, and this is my sanctified religious science part now, I did tell you about that, who and whose I am. I'm going to say that again. Remembering who and whose I am. That means remembering that Christ that exists at the center and core of my being. Because when I remember that, when I have that at the forefront of my consciousness, then what I also remember is that there is a part of me that has never been hurt, that cannot be hurt, and never will be hurt. Now, am I suggesting that all I have to do is say Christ 5 times and then it'll be okay? I'm absolutely not. I am absolutely not. But I am suggesting that we are living in a time where we have the opportunity, where we have the framework, where we have the responsibility to take down our shields, where we have the opportunity to see each other first as the Christ that exists within each one of us. I am suggesting that as we allow ourselves, because we have to let ourselves see that, particularly when we're in the midst of the thing, of the argument, of the discussion, of seeing the person on TV and thinking all the horrible things that we can think about the person on TV because they may be saying something that we disagree with. Our earth, our planet, our children, our relatives, everyone and everything that we think we love, that we say we love, is calling for us to demonstrate that love in a much more powerful and personal way. In The 4 Pivots, which is a book by Sean Ginwright that I understand you all have used in a class here, and I looked, so it's in the bookstore if you wanted to buy one. In the 4 pivots, in pivot number 3, which is from transactional to transformative, from transactional, meaning that we're not just having deals with each other. We're not just having experiences of exchange, if you will. From transactional to transformative, Sean Ginwright says, there are some questions and actions that we can use to lean into vulnerability in our work toward justice. For the most part, these questions encourage deeper thinking about what we're doing on a daily basis. And then he gives 2 questions. Do I have transformative relationships with the people in my community? Meaning, do I have authentic relationships and conversations? Now, I'm going to demonstrate a little vulnerability here. For me, This is a call to let go of code shifting. Raise your hand if you know what code shifting is. 1, 2, 3. Let me tell y'all about code shifting. So first of all, it's something that not just Black people do, but I must say we kind of perfected it and made a real science out of it, out of necessity. Because sometimes vulnerability is not voluntary, right? Sometimes vulnerability is the position that you're in regardless because you need to feed your family, you need to pay your bills, et cetera, et cetera. Code shifting means that I behave in the way that I either A, think that you expect me to behave, and or B, I behave in a way that I know is going to make you think of me in a particular way, safe, generally, safe. Now, while I'm having this interaction with you, and I want to suggest that women do this, I want to suggest that men do this in their workplaces. We don't quite call it code shifting, and it's not quite to the same level, but I'm suggesting that we all do a little code shifting in our lives when we're being anything other than authentically who we are. And we have reasons and we have excuses. And I am suggesting that in a time when our whole vocabulary about how we describe the weather is shifting, right? When we have rainstorms that are going on in the atmospheric, what's it called? Atmospheric river. When we have atmospheric rivers going on, it might be a time, it just might be a time when we can have authentic conversations with each other. It might be a time when we can love up on each other. It might be a time when we can individually and collectively see the divine within each other, where we can not put our differences aside, but have conversations about our differences. Not with the goal of agreeing, but with the goal of understanding. To Sean Ginwright's 2 questions, I've added 2 more. The first being, am I safe with myself? Am I safe with myself? Do I even know who I am? Do I tell the truth to myself about myself? And finally, do I trust myself? Do I trust myself enough to be vulnerable with myself in the mirror? What's she talking about? Of course I tell the truth to myself. Do we? Do we? Principle says, truth teachings say, new thought says that as I develop that trust for myself, then I am more easily and more readily available to trust you. That does not mean that I get to do all the work on myself first and then I go out into the world. It means that we live in a reciprocating universe, and that is the way we are called to be with each other. As I trust myself a little bit, as I decide that I'm safe with myself a little bit, then I have the conversation with you. Then I have the conversation with you that is from my authentic self, I have the conversation with you that shares that I'm not code shifting anymore. I have the conversation with you that says, this is who I am, nappy hair and all. This is who I am. I love myself the way I am, and I love you too. Because since I've started loving myself, valuing my authenticity, I'm suddenly curious about who you are, who you authentically are, not who I made you up to be. And as that exchange takes place, my own self-knowledge, self-understanding grows, so does yours, then we get to come back and do it again. And again, and again, and again. And that is how we create the world that works for everyone. Or as I like to say, the world in which everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Ernest Holmes says there is an irresistible potential pressing against everyone for self-expression. If we listen, we shall hear it, not as a voice, but as a feeling, as a divine urge to express. I invite us to consider that we cannot do it on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, blogs, note cards, cell phones, emails, Zoom, Facebook, websites, none of the above. This is an up-close and personal conversation and opportunity that we have. The stakes are very, very high, but we individually and collectively have everything that is required. Everything. I leave you with this idea that what is required is care. What is required is love. What is required is a recognition of our interconnectedness. Authenticity and meaningful connection are born out of vulnerability. It is not weakness. It is about showing up and being seen, even in the face of fear. The call is to examine the areas of our lives where we've been resistant to vulnerability and to go step boldly into it, even if our knees are knocking. Ashe? Amen. Amen. Aho. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let's give some more love to Reverend Jacqueline, shall we? Thank you. So now is the time of our service where we practice that spiritual practice we shared on our opening, spiritual circulation. And as part of our ritual today, I invite us to tune in. And if you like, if it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes to do this. Tune into that part of you that Reverend Jacqueline was talking about, that part of you that is infinite, that is immutable, that has never been harmed and cannot be harmed, and allow that feeling to fill you up and to expand out and to fill this room. And then I invite you to repeat after me. I bless my gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does amazing work in the world. And so we have a number of ways that if you choose to give financially that you can give. We have our fabulous text to give where you can send a text message with the dollar amount, $1 million, to 707-675-2399. And if it's your first time texting it, it'll give you instructions on how to set it up so that after that first text, you can then just send it the dollar amount and it will automatically apply it as your donation. And it's super quick and easy. I use it myself. I love it. You can also give online at cslsr.org/donate. You can send us a check. A lot of people like to do that. We also have auto giving. So if you want to just set it and forget it, you can talk to Linda Han or Mitzi Hughes at our info desk on your way out, or you can send Linda an email, linda.han@cslsr.org, and she will help to get you set up if you're watching online. Finally, we have gone back to our practice of passing the baskets too, which is a lovely ritual for us. So I'm going to invite our ushers to stand and please receive our gifts. So however you choose to give, please know we are so grateful for what you give, your financial gifts, your volunteering, or even just sharing that Christ consciousness with us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Spirit, guide my day. Open my heart to live your way. Teach me to hear your voice. Open my mind to the freedom of choice. Won't you sing with me? Spirit, guide my day. Open my heart to live your way. Teach me to hear your voice. Open my mind to the freedom of choice. Take it, friend. Guide my day. Open my heart to live your way. And teach me to hear your voice. Open my mind to the freedom of choice. Last time, here we go. Spirit, guide my day. Open my heart to live your way. And teach me to hear your voice. Open my mind to the freedom of choice. Spirit.
Thank you again for all the gifts that you share with us here at the center. We truly do exist because of you, because of your hard work, because of your financial gifts. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so I mentioned that we've got a lot going on here at the center, and the first thing you probably noticed if you're here in person is the lovely baked good smell in the social hall. Yeah, I know. You're probably like, Russ, why don't you get these announcements done so I can go buy all those baked goodies, yeah? Yeah. So our AIDS Life Cycle Bake Sale is back. And today you get to enjoy amazing baked goodies from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. And that's because each of our AIDS Life Cycle riders needs to raise $3,500 so that they can participate in the 545-mile bicycle trip from San Francisco to Los Angeles to support AIDS research and treatment. So they've been doing this for 8 years now, and they do such an amazing job every single year, and it's a great experience and great thing that they're doing. So I hope you enjoy the bake sale. Please go say hi to them. Please give them your love and support, and get some baked goodies. Take them home. There's tons of loaves of bread for you to take home too, so there's something for everyone. Also, for many years now, it's been our tradition here at the center on Easter Sunday to decorate our stage with calla lilies. And if you are a gardener, or if you just happen to like flowers and know where to get calla lilies, please bring them to us. This Saturday, you'll be able to drop them off outside in front of the center. We'll have buckets of water there where you can drop off your calla lilies before noon. And then we will take them, we will bedazzle our stage with them so that we can just be surrounded by flowers for our Easter service. Also, speaking of next Sunday, we've got a very special Easter service for you. We've got beautiful music here by Christopher Fritchie and the band and all of the wonderful, awesome things that he's putting together for you. We're also going to have an Easter surprise for you. You don't sound so excited about it. We will have an Easter surprise for you, and of course, Dr. Edward will be back with us from vacation. He is coming back from his vacation in Japan, and he will be sharing our Easter message this coming Sunday. So please be sure to mark your calendars for that. Also, if you happen to love kids, we do, then our youth program would love to have you help it out. It has been expanding greatly. So if you want to be here for our children, please reach out to our youth coordinator, Jennifer Caldwell. Hi, Jennifer. She's waving in the audience right now. And you can chat with her in the social hall after service today, or if you're online watching and you want to find out how you can help, you can send an email to youth@cslsr.org, and she will tell you how you can get plugged in. And I also wanted to say thank you to all of our volunteers who have been volunteering with our youth program. We had no idea that it was going to take off as quickly and as amazingly as it has, which is because of you, our youth volunteers. So thank you so much for that. Now, do you find yourself in the middle of the week wondering, where am I going to get my spiritual fix? If you do, then don't worry, we have you covered. This coming Wednesday, Reverend Sciota is going to be sharing her interpretation of our Science of Mind reading. We've been following the Science of Mind reader at the beginning of the book every Wednesday for our Wednesday evening service, and then unpacking that in plain English, because sometimes it's important with Ernest Holmes, and sharing that wonderful sense of community with each other. We'll have some beautiful meditation music, baked goods. I will be baking bread, so don't worry, there will be bread there, and fabulous community. So we hope we will see you there in person at 7 p.m. this Wednesday. Also, I have a fantastic update for our CSL Santa Rosa softball team. We have had an incredibly huge interest in this team, far more than we were expecting, which tells me that there was a need for us to play some softball. So Jamie Caldwell, who is also here in our audience today, is going to be reaching out to everyone who signed up for the next steps. But if you are interested in joining, but you haven't quite signed up yet, please know that there still is a little bit of time for you to sign up before the next step. So you can do that by clicking on that photo of the softball diamond on our website, and then that will get you on our list, and then Jamie will be able to reach out to you about what's coming next. But I'm super thrilled to hear about this. I think this is such a great way for us to share our loving community out with the world by hopefully winning lots of softball games. And if not, that's okay too. All right, so finally, we do have a number of classes that are going to be starting both here in April as well as in May. And you're going to hear about the April class soon in just a second. But in May, Dr. Edward, as I mentioned, is going to be teaching a class called The 5 Pillars of a Spiritual Life, which are those 5 spiritual practices that we opened with. Also, practitioner Elias Owens is going to be teaching the art and science of spiritual mind treatment. So if you've ever wondered, how do I learn to pray like those amazing practitioners on Sunday, that's the class for you. We will have some more stuff coming as well, but I know both of those classes are going to be amazing, and you can sign up for both of those on the front page of our website by looking for the photo of the pillars and the photo of the drop of water. We also have a couple of workshops that are coming up soon, too, that you'll be able to check out on our website, so be sure and check that as well. And then speaking of classes, I have to hand it over to the fabulous Reverend Scioto Bell to tell us about Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life.
Thank you, Russ. So, what a great morning. I'm here to invite you to join my class, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life, that begins this week. Now, the question is, could this class be right for you? If you would like more joy, more happiness, and to know how to do less and accomplish more in your life, the practical tools we share in this class will help you to know what is truly genuine and authentic for you and how to gain that for yourself. And no matter what you want in your life experience, you have the right and the ability to attain that. So how long is this class? 5 weeks. When does it start? This Tuesday evening, April 4th, in person, here at the center, or if you'd like to attend on Zoom, I also have a class on Saturday mornings beginning April 8th. Now, to register, you can go to the website, cslsr.org, and scroll down and click on the picture of the blue sky with white clouds. Or I'll be in the social hall after each service, and I can let you know more. I hope you'll join me, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Scioto. That is one of our core classes, too. So if you find that being a licensed practitioner at our center calls to you, that is one of the classes that you can take to help fulfill the requirements. So I encourage you to check that out. It's going to be a great class. Reverend Scioto is a great teacher, and I know it's going to be a lot of fun. So it is now time for us to close out our service. Before we close it out, though, if you are feeling vulnerable, if you are having a hard time, or if you just want somebody to affirm the joyful goodness in your life, I invite you to take advantage of our after-service prayer. In our sanctuary here, you can go to the table in the corner there, and our practitioner host will guide you to one of our available practitioners to pray with you. We also have prayer on Zoom. So if you are watching online, you can go to cslsr.org/Zoom-prayer and have a practitioner pray with you there. This prayer is confidential, and they will pray for whatever it is that you desire, and they love doing it. So please help them do what they love today. Take advantage of that. It's a great way to get that spiritual goodness before you head out. All right, so if you are able and willing, please go ahead and stand and repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, life is in my body, and life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it just the way that it is and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Please know with me that you are never alone, that Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you're guided, sustained, and empowered by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly so that in everything that we do, say, and think, we honor this divine presence within. And so it is. Please enjoy the closing music and the bake sale.
Choose fear to release. Every moment love wakes up, and peace is every step. I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside. In every breath, peace abides. I know the joy